Okay, guys, hope you're having a good afternoon. And one of the things that we're going to be working with, and that we started to work with, are Venn diagrams. And I really think that sometimes it's hard to know what regions we're talking about. So I wanted to go through a couple of examples with you. If at any point you want to kind of stop and try to figure out what the Venn diagram is going to look like, just pause the recording as you look at the problem. Try to figure it out yourself and then see if you're right. It might be a good way to check things out. All right, here we go. So the first one I want to look at is the region of A intersect B. So I'm going to go ahead and shade this. A intersect B is just that football region right in between. Okay, not too bad. When we take it a step further, now we're looking at the intersection of A and B. Whoops. But we want to have the complement of that. So that means everything is shaded except for that football region. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the highlighter to kind of shade that region, and it allows us to see what has been shaded and what has not. It's not a perfect shading. If you're using paper and pencil, I would recommend some fairly light lines, maybe even, just a series of parallel lines so you can see what you have underneath. Okay, moving on. This one is a union B, and we've talked about this before, but I think you're okay. Here is set A, and we're going to intersect that, we're going to join that, which is what a union is, with B. So we're saying that we're okay as long as either A or B happens. If A occurs, we're happy. If B occurs, we're happy. If they both occur, we're happy. All right, now we're saying we're happy, the complement of A union B. So that means that we're happy only if we don't have A or B. So if I were going to shade that, this would be everything except A union B. So the complement of what we had on the last slide. All right, now we get to some fun stuff. Now I want to join A with the complement of B. So before I get started with this, the complement of B, just so we're clear, will be the outside region here, right? Anything that is not in B is in the complement of B. But we are joining that. We're happy if we have anything that's not in B. We're also happy if we have A. That does not mean that we have to eliminate this part of A, because this football region that we have right here, isn't that also a part of A? So that now is part of our union. If we were talking intersection, we would not have shaded that in. All right, and let's just see. So now we want the intersection of A with the complement of B. So as we shade the complement, as we shade the complement of B, we're only looking for where it crosses. So here's the complement of B, but we want to intersect it with A. So that's this region right here. We actually have too much shading going on. Do you see it? I'm going to take it all off of there, because what we want to do, we want to have just so the complement of B is everything on the outside of B, and A is just this circle right here. So the only part where they overlap is right in here. So when you have A intersecting with the complement of B, it's kind of like saying A, as long as it's not a part of B. All right, so now we're going to get tricky. Now we're going to look at what we have when we have the intersection of the union of A and B with C. So in order to do this, we may want to have a smaller diagram right here. Oops. I'm just going to lasso, and I'm going to copy it because we're going to need this as we go along. If I want to do this, first I'm going to start out by shading in the union of A and B, which is kind of like our MasterCard shaped diagram. And then I'm going to intersect that with C. Well, if you notice, the only place that that really intersects with C, I'll use orange, I guess. And I think I need this to be a little more opaque. Or a little, there we go. All right, so that means I want just this region here. So in the end, what I'm really going to shade is just what's here. And these become a lot trickier, so you might have to have one of those little mini diagrams to do these. All right, again, I'm going to start with my little mini diagram, because as I look at this, I want the intersection of A and B. I'm going to go back to yellow for this. And the intersection of A and B is our yellow region. Now I'm going to join that with C. When I join that with C, this is all of C that I have here, right? All of C. Oops. Undo that. So it's going to be all of C right there. So when I look at this and I join those things together, I'm going to have kind of an odd-shaped region shaded in. All of this is going to be shaded. And that's what the Venn diagram would look like for this statement. All right, two more. Now we have the complement of A, union B. So I might even need two of these things. And then we'll build up to our final answer over here on the right. Erase that. And so as I look at this, I'm going to switch back and forth to yellow and orange. I want the complement of A, which is on the outside here, right? Everything on the outside of A. And I'm joining that with B. So I've got this region. Okay, that's the complement. And I'm going to intersect that with C. Well, C, we know, I'll keep that yellow for right now, is right here. So where would this shaded region, everything except that half moon type shape of A, a tiny bit of C, where does that intersect? Well, it's kind of hard to see, but what it really is it's just C, but not even all of C. These two regions match, this one, but that one region that touches A is not included. Okay, last one. Now again, we might need some of these little ones to help us through, at least one. Let's start with the one. So we want the intersection of A and B. I'm going to go back to yellow for this. And I've got this part right here. I'm going to join that with the complement of C. So it looks like I'm going to really want another one of these. Okay. I want the complement. I'm going to join this intersection of B with the complement of C. So the complement of C, I'm going to switch to orange. No, I'll keep it yellow for now. The complement of C is here. Everything that's not in C. So that's almost everything. So if I put this lower one on top of that one, I'm not looking for overlap, I'm just joining them together. So I wind up getting a little bit more than what I have in the complement of C. I gain that region where everything happens. So I am going to wind up with this region along with the complement of C. And so it does become kind of tricky. You got to kind of reason things out, but you can do it. All right. That's it for tonight. Have a good evening. See you on Wednesday.